What if you had your mind and your body under control? What if you weren't under so much mental stress all the time? I coach people on fat loss and discipline, and I'll tell you what I see in many people over and over again. It's a similar recurring theme. The people who feel anxious, the ones who have a hard time sticking to the plan, the ones who are inconsistent, aren't always dealing with some deep hidden issue, right? A lot of them are just trained to mentally escape discomfort. So when it's time to work out, when it's time to eat right, focus, or lead their family, they fold under the pressure. And I don't say that to criticize anyone. I say it because once you see it, once you expose yourself to it and gain that self-awareness, you can fix it. So here's what's happening. Most of us have removed almost all resistance from our daily life, right? You don't have to move too much, right? Transportation, cars, you can work from home. You don't have to cook because there's DoorDash, there's fast food. You don't even have to wait for certain things like you have Netflix, you have ChatGPT. I remember when I was a kid, we had VHS and then DVDs, but now everything's accessible at the click of a button. You don't even have to sit alone with your thoughts anymore because we all have our cell phones and we can just scroll mindlessly for hours. If something is uncomfortable, you can avoid it almost immediately. And those decisions, although they don't feel dramatic in the moment, the scary thing is they feel normal. And that's scary because your brain starts interpreting normal effort as something difficult. You can't even sit in silence for 5 minutes without reaching for your phone. So it's no wonder why you start labeling yourself or talking negatively about yourself. Like, I'm inconsistent, I lack discipline, I can't stay focused. But as a coach, when I look at that, I don't see a character flaw. I see someone who hasn't practiced staying in discomfort. I've been there myself. Discipline isn't a personality, it's a tolerance. If you don't train your ability to stay in something uncomfortable, your system will push you out of it every time. And that doesn't just affect your body, it affects your mind as well. Mainly your mind, because that's where all the decisions come from. You feel on edge, you try to relax, you can't even fully settle down, you feel like you should be doing something, but you don't know what. And a lot of that restless energy people feel today, it's not a mystery. Think about it. Overstimulation and lack of exposure to actual effort is causing your issues. And this isn't just a mindset concept. Even scripture makes this very clear. In James chapter 1 verse 4 it reads, "But let patience have her perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing." Patience has a job to do in you, but it can't do its job if you keep escaping the moment it gets uncomfortable. If you never stay in that friction, you never become complete in it. And the worst part is, we keep trying to fix this with more information, right? Watch another podcast, try to get another productivity hack, take another supplement. But the issue is even simpler than that. You've just removed all the friction from your life. And friction is what builds your stability. For example, when you train a muscle, you don't strengthen it because it's comfortable. You strengthen it by exposing it to resistance consistently. Your mind works the same way. If you never hold yourself in a small discomfort, you'll never build the capacity. Then, when pressure shows up, whether it's parenting, work, fitness, finances, you react instead of making a decision. So what's the fix? It's nothing extreme. It's not this complete life overhaul, right? It's reintroducing small, controlled frictions daily. Move before you consume anything in the morning. Even 5 minutes. Action before stimulation. Cook one meal for yourself each day. Effort before convenience, right? Sit without your phone for 5 minutes. Let your system settle down without feeding it more input. Finish one thing you said you would finish, even if you don't feel like it anymore. And that's it. You don't need intensity in the beginning, you just need repetition. Every time you stay in something slightly uncomfortable and you don't escape, you build evidence that you can follow through, evidence that you can actually tolerate effort and that you're not controlled by impulse. And that's where your confidence will come from keeping those promises to yourself. And once that shifts, your physical health follows. You stop negotiating with your exercise, you stop emotionally eating, you stop quitting when the progress feels slow because you're no longer allergic to the discomfort. You've trained for it. I've lived on both sides of this fence. I've been very reactive to situations and I lived very structured. Structure isn't punishment, and I know this to be 100% true. It's actually freedom. Scripture tells us in 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7, "For God hath not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." A sound mind isn't automatic, it's built. And structure is one of the greatest ways to build it. And once you adapt to it, life doesn't feel harder. It's actually a lot more enjoyable because you're not consistently reacting to how you feel. You're choosing your actions. So if you're feeling mentally scattered, physically inconsistent, frustrated with yourself, don't jump to some dramatic explanation or excuse. Just ask yourself something very simple. When was the last time you intentionally stayed in something uncomfortable without escaping it? Start there. Again, nothing extreme. You just need to build the capacity to do the hard things and do the uncomfortable things. That's how you regain your life both mentally and physically again. This is what I coach. So if you think you have what it takes, if you're ready to change your life, there's a link in my bio. Schedule a call, apply for coaching. It's not for those of you who have all the excuses in the world. I ask that you respect your time and mine, but if you are ready to make a change, you know what to do. Thanks for watching.